गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय राधम कुंज बिहारी जय राधम कुंज बिहारी यशोदानंदन जन रंजन यशोदानंदन जन रंजन जमुना तीर वनचारी जमुना तीर वनचारी जय राम जय बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ वरधारी गोपीजन वल्लभ वरधारी प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत राधा भक्त Jai Shri Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Radha Shivasari Gopāl Jai Shri Krishna Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Radha Shivasari Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. After speaking all day, by the time evening comes, the throat is half punctured. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 We'd like to welcome everyone to the program this evening. We're going to speak today on Sanatana Goswami and some of his teachings. Is that a good idea? Yes, no? 𝐾𝐢𝐬𝐭𝐫𝐚𝐜𝐿 Jai Shri Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya. Two mics.
This is for Zoom.
Can you hear me in all the four corners? Okay. So, there were 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan. You all heard of that? And they played an important role in presenting the Vedic literature. Sanatana Goswami was the brother of Rupa Goswami. And Rupa and his brother were forced to serve a Mohammedan king called Hussain Shah. Now Hussain Shah conquered over the Indian kings and became the emperor. He was very smart. He knew that majority of the population is Hindu, and he was a Mohammedan. At that time, the Mohammedans were barely 0.1% of India's population. So he did a survey to find out who amongst the Indians is the most popular. And we found out that these two brothers are very popular with the people. Very popular. All day, he just did the Bhagavatam recitation, and people would come to them for advice and direction. In every society, there are always some people who play the role of counselors. So the king approached his brothers and said, I would like you to administer my kingdom. And the two brothers said, we have no interest. We are simply interested in doing Krishna bhajan. The emperor said, no, you have to do it. But they were forced to do it. But their heart was not there. Gopal Krishna was a younger brother. When he left, he retired from his job. He resigned from his job. The first to leave. His heart was not there. And when he resigned, he had so much wealth. The whole boat was full of, the whole boat. Imagine, these days you have the paper currency, it gets thinner every year. Those days you probably had gold coins as currency. So, Gopal Goswami, he had a huge wealth, but he divided it up. He gave a good example. He said he divided 50% to the Brahmanas, 25% to the elders, and he kept some money for future emergency. A little later, his brother Sanatan also wanted to resign. So what did Sanatan do? He sent information to the king that he was sick. And for nearly a month, he didn't show up at office. His brother had already resigned. So the king had so much faith in these two brothers that he transferred all the responsibility to him. And at that time, 500 years ago, the richest kingdom in the world was America. There was no America at that time. The richest kingdom in the world was the kingdom of Bengal, India. And the richest part of India was Bengal. So, Sanatana Goswami did not show up for work. The king was getting ready. The king was ruling in Bengal. But the king of Orissa happened to be a Hindu. So the king was going to fight with him, bring Orissa under control. So the king said, now I have to go to fight King of Orissa. And Sanatan hasn't come. So he sent his doctor, Vaidya, to go and see how sick is Sanatan. So these days, if somebody wants to come to your house, there's certain formalities. You ring the bell. If he doesn't respond, the person doesn't press the button. You can't come in, isn't it? You can't just walk in. In those days, there was no such facility. So the doctor Vaidya walked right in. And what did he see? What did he see? He saw Sanatan was surrounded by 30 brahmanas and the entire Srimad Bhagavatam. And what were they doing? They were studying the Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam, as you know, is a ripened fruit of Vedic knowledge. How many of you have a Bhagavatam set at home? That's all. I thought if you would read. We have these books with God. You also read them. So the Vaidya saw that Sanatan is surrounded by Brahmanas and they're studying the Srimad Bhagavatam. So the Vaidya went back to the king and said, "Your prime minister, what should be like a prime minister? Your prime minister is completely normal." I went there. He was sitting down with 30 brahmanas, and what were they doing? They were shutting the Bhagavatam. "He's completely okay, my lord." So the Lord said, the king said, "Call him." And they called him. So Sanatana Goswami came in front of the king. And he bowed down to the king. Even though the king was a materialist and definitely senior to Sanatana, out of etiquette, he was the king. Sanatana bowed down to him and offered respect. The king said, "Your brother has proved to be very irresponsible. He quit his job, and you are following in his footsteps. I want you to come and administer my kingdom, but I go away to fight." The materialists, we give up doing a spiritual duty. Materialists often think abandoning our duty. So the Krishna said, "Sir, I've served you for so long, but now I just can't do this job anymore. You have to do it, otherwise we're going to imprison you." And Sanatana was imprisoned. I don't think you had any justice system where you could appeal. There was no such thing. Sanatana was arrested, put in jail, and the king proceeded to conquer. Sanatana received a letter from his brother. His brother said, "I'll have some gold coins for your use as a local shopkeeper." It appears that there was no banking system at that time, but the grain merchants were like unofficial bankers. Sanatana, with his money, told the jailkeeper, "Please release me. I've done a lot of favors to you." I was running the Prime Minister. And the jailer said, "How can I release you? The king will not let me go. Keep me alive." But anyway, they made a settlement. We don't have to discuss that in public. And Sanatana was released. Sanatana, accompanied by one devotee assistant. What was his name? As I speak, I'll test you all also. What was his name? Ishan. Ishan was carrying 8 gold coins in his pocket. And how many Ishan? They left. On the way, they stopped to stay the night in something like a motel. So the manager or the proprietor of the hotel was very smart. He had an astrologer at the reception. Everyone who would come, they would see how rich is this person. And if he was rich, then they would rob him, deprive him of all his wealth. So the proprietor, very courteous to Sanatana, very courteous, exceptionally courteous. And Sanatana was experienced in administration. After all, he and his brother were running the most important kingdom at that time. So Sanatana asked his servant, "This proprietor being so nice to me, are you carrying wealth with you?" He said, yes. He said, I have 7 gold coins in my pocket. Actually, he had 8. He first cheated by saying he didn't have anything. And then we were caught. He gave 7. So Sanatana took those coins and told the writer, please take these coins. I'm a fugitive, and help me cross the mountain. I was headed for Varanasi. And Sanatana took those 7 gold coins and gave it to the hotel proprietor. I have these coins, please take it. The hotel proprietor said, I was going to kill you tonight to recover these 8 gold coins. But since you have brought these coins to me, I will not kill you. And I feel embarrassed. Nathan said, if you don't take these coins, somebody else will kill me to take these coins. Better you take it. So then he gave an escort to Sanatana. Sanatana was unhappy with his servant. Why? Why was he unhappy? Because he had lied. Of course he lied, he didn't have anything. And he lied, he had 8 gold coins. But he actually had, and lied that he had 7 gold coins, but actually he had 8. So Ishan was sent home, and Sanatana proceeded to cross the mountain. On the way, he stopped at his brother-in-law's house. His brother-in-law's name was Srikant. And his brother-in-law's name was Srikant. And Srikant was also working for a Mohammedan ruler. So Sanatana stopped there to see Srikant. And Srikant saw Sanatana. Dirty clothes, long beard, long hair. Because Sanatana was escaping he had escaped from the prison. And Sanatana didn't have any clothes or anything with him. So Srikant said, what are you doing? You look so dirty and like a beggar. You come and join and work with me. But Sanatana said, no. Sanatana had renounced his kingdom. He renounced the kingdom and he was just interested in meeting Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Sanatana said, he did not get influenced. So Srikant gave him a very expensive chadar, probably a Kashmiri shawl, to him to wear. So Sanatana then proceeded and came to where? Varanasi. Varanasi at that time, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had gone to South India, had gone to Vrindavan. He was returning. And in Varanasi, it was the residence of Chandrasekhar. Chandrasekhar was born in a low-caste family. In India you see all this controversy about higher caste, lower caste. Is that right? And many people, this is what I've been told, purposely write a lower caste in their birth certificate so that they can get favors. So Chandrasekhar was born in a low-caste family. But his qualification was, he was a great devotee of the Lord. A very great devotee of the Lord. And Lord Chaitanya He did not see who is higher caste and who is lower caste. Higher caste means, in our definition, one who wants to serve the Lord. And lower caste is one who doesn't want to follow the laws of God. Anad and Sanat. Anad means orphan. So one who doesn't accept the Supreme Lord as the cause of all causes, we consider him Anad. And who is Sanat? One who accepts the position of the Supreme Lord. So Lord Chaitanya had come and he stayed in the house of Chandrasekhar. There were two devotees, Chandrasekhar and Tapan Mishra. Tapan Mishra joined Mahaprabhu's movement. He was residing in Bangladesh. In Bangladesh, there were many important Vaishnava locations. And many of the sages came from Bangladesh, stayed in Bangladesh. So, Sanatana Goswami, when he came to the house of Chandrasekhar, Lord Chaitanya, who is the cause of all causes, he knew that Sanatana has arrived in front of Chandrasekhar's house. So the Lord said, Chandrasekhar, go and see. There's a great sage standing outside. Come and bring him to me. So Chandrasekhar came out on the balcony. He was looking on all sides. Where is that sadhu that the Lord wants me to bring? And he saw someone with a beard and dirty clothes. And he said, this is his Lord. This looks like a mullah. So he came back and said, I could not find any sadhu there. I can only see a mullah wearing dirty clothes. So Lord Chaitanya said, that mullah, that man is not a mullah. He's a great sage. Bring him inside. Then Sanatana, so then this Sanatana was brought inside. And when he came inside, Lord Chaitanya embraced him. And because Lord Chaitanya knew how he had escaped from the prison to join him. And Lord Chaitanya had him take his bath and wear new clothes. So then Sanatana noted Lord Chaitanya was staring at the expensive chadar he was wearing. The very expensive chadar that was given to him by whom? Srila. Sanatana understood. Lord Chaitanya is unhappy with what? By wearing such a expensive cloth. We went to, open the chapter 22. We went to the Ganga, beach of next to Ganga. And he saw a Bengali mendicant. And that mendicant had a torn blanket that he was drying. So Sanatana went to him and said, I have this very nice chadar. Please take it and give me your torn blanket in exchange. And the old man said, you mean you're going to give me that expensive blanket in exchange for my torn blanket? You must be joking. And I said, no, I'm not joking. I'm serious. So Sanatana came back to see Lord Chaitanya. There he saw Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya noticed that Sanatana got rid of his expensive chadar. He was wearing a torn blanket. So Sanatana said, he told the Lord, so the Lord told Sanatana Goswami, a good physician does not give medicine and leave the cause of the disease. A good physician also cures the cause. In other words, a good physician, he doesn't just give a medicine and the cause remains, but then the cause will again be effective. He removes the cause also. So Lord Chaitanya was telling Sanatana, you renounce everything to become a mendicant. Now that you are living life of mendicant, you don't have to wear very fancy clothes. And Lord Chaitanya preached humility. So Sanatana understood. So this way, Lord Chaitanya gave Sanatana a lot of instruction. So, Rupa and Sanatana were instructed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to go to Vrindavan and write books on devotional service. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructed Rupa Goswami, then Sanatana, in the process of devotional service. And to write books on devotional service and to re-establish temples. Most of the temples in Vrindavan and India at that time, about 600 years ago, were broken by Mohammedan rulers. The Mohammedans were ruling over India. And what did they do? They destroyed all the temples. So the pujaris of these temples, in order to protect the deities, what did they do? They took the deities and hid them underneath the ground. And that is one thing they did. And many of them took the deities to Jaipur, where there was a Hindu king ruling. Therefore, Jaipur is also known as Vrindavan, secret Vrindavan. And to identify places, the Lord will perform his pastime. So all these temples that you see, the Lord, were created by Goswami. For example, the famous Radha Govinji temple was established by whom? Rupa Goswami. Our deities are known more, Radha, Mother Mohan. That's Radha Goswami was inspiration for that. Isn't that the same? So, Sanatana Goswami came to Vrindavan. Lord Chaitanya gave him 5 important points. Lord Chaitanya gave detailed instructions, but he summarized them into 5 more points, which you probably hear in the class. What were these points? One was to, in order to advance spiritually, he mentioned 5 main points. First one was sadhu, spiritual association. You read about spiritual association almost in every purport. We want to advance spiritually. What is important is we have spiritual association. If you have the right association, you get the right message, isn't it? And if you don't have the right association, you won't get the right instruction. So the scriptures say, sadhu sangha, sarva shastra. Navamatra sadhu sangha, Navamatra. What does Navamatra mean? 1/14th of 1 second. If you get the opportunity to associate with a saintly person, even for 1/4 of a fraction, of spiritual life, okay. Spiritual life can start. There are so many examples of Srila Prabhupada. He just met someone. He just gave instruction, and the person's life changed. Prabhupada went to the former Soviet Union in 1971, and Prabhupada had established Krishna consciousness in Europe, America, India, and what was left was the communist bloc. So Prabhupada went there just for 5 days. Within 5 days, he initiated a Russian devotee, instructed him, and left. He started preaching. He made thousands of devotees. His name was Anantashanti. He passed away. So if we have the fortune of getting the right association, then what happens? What happens? You get the right instruction. And what is the right instruction? Then in this age of Kali, how can we progress spiritually? Nama Kirtan. By chanting the prediction Maharaj. How will people in Kali Yuga be saved? And what did he say? Kali Dose Nidhe Rajas. This Kali Yuga is nothing but one vice after another. But there is one special benediction in the age. And what is that? Chanting the holy name of the Lord. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had predicted in every corner of the globe, what will be sung? The holy name. Today, you can virtually travel to any part of the world, and what will you see? People chanting Hare Krishna. Go to any part of the world. So, this prediction of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that was fulfilled by Prabhupada, it was eventually fulfilled by Prabhupada. And Bhaktisiddhanta Ji first met Prabhupada in 1922 in Calcutta. Prabhupada is her friend. His friend told Prabhupada, there is a sadhu here, I want you to come and meet him. And Prabhupada said, I have met so many sadhus, but I'm not impressed by them. Prabhupada's father's name was, what was it? One more name. He was a middle-class cloth merchant. He was not some big typhoon. But his desire was that his son may grow to be a big devotee of the Lord. And Prabhupada's mother, her desire was that my son should go to England and be educated there. Because those days India was under British rule, and it was prestigious sending a children to England. These days it has become prestigious to send the children to Canada. So Prabhupada's father would regularly entertain sadhus. So he did not discriminate who was qualified, who was not. So Prabhupada said, I met many sadhus. But his friend said, no, this sadhu is special. So Prabhupada's words, he virtually dragged me to see my spiritual master. And the first meeting, Bhaktisiddhanta could see, here is a sadhu, here is a personality who will fulfill Lord Chaitanya's prediction. Lord Chaitanya had predicted the holy name will be chanted everywhere. And many Gaudiya Vaishnavas had attempted to fulfill that. And 3 or 4 of the sannyasis even were sent to England by Bhaktisiddhanta to preach. But they didn't have much success. So the conclusion was, even our Vaishnavas were thinking, yes, Lord Chaitanya has predicted this, but it looks like Kali Yuga is too deep. It won't happen. But Thakur Bhakti knows, he had full faith, it will be realized. And Bhaktisiddhanta in the very first meeting, you will see, here is a young man who will fulfill Lord Chaitanya's prediction. When he told him, Prabhupada said, first we should make our country of India independent. And then Bhaktisiddhanta convinced him, real independence is freedom from the cycle of what birth and death. So Prabhupada had this instruction that he never forgot. And eventually he succeeded. So the scriptures say, Kali Yuga is an ocean of white. There's one benediction in the day, and it is the chanting of the holy Nama Chintamani Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Vigraha Purna Shuddha Nitya Mukto Vinnatam Nama Nama. The holy names of the Lord are sweet like sugar. The holy name is like a Chintamani stone. What is the special feature of the Chintamani stone? What is the special feature? Whoever touches it becomes gold, or whatever touches. So the holy name is like Chintamani, and not different from the Lord. It is pure. So this chanting of the holy name is our most important business. Rupa Goswami says, the holy names of the Lord are sweet like sugar candy. Is that right? You like sugar? You like sweets? Yeah, yes, no? Yes. Because people like sweets, that's why the dentist, the business is booming. Because the more sweets you take, the more cavities you get. Anyway, so the holy name is not different from the Lord. So if you have genuine association, then you get the right instruction. The holy name is the sound incarnation of the Lord. And this is the remedy in the city. Prabhupada was in 1935 in Iran. He was having a discussion with a prominent Muslim leader. Prabhupada told him, chant the names of Allah, or chant the names of God, chant the names of Christ, chant the names of the Lord. So Prabhupada established it. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, if first is associated with one of my devotees, and then take instruction. That is, in this age, what is the solution? Chanting the holy name. So this chanting of the holy name is most important. Thakur Bhakti says, 𝐃𝐢𝐬𝐧 𝐅𝐫𝐞𝐞 Does not matter which ashram you belong to. What should you do? Chant the holy name. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was on a tour of South India. He walked for 24,000 miles. And when he came to South India, he was received in the house of a Brahmin called Kurma. Kurma Brahmin was very elevated devotee. But Chaitanya came to his house, washed his feet, and said, "How fortunate we are, the Lord has come." Then he said, "My dear Lord, I am totally unhappy in the Grihastha ashram. Please take me with you." Lord Chaitanya knew this man was married, he had children. He gave him a practical advice. Chant the holy name, preach the glories of the holy name. Read the scriptures and distribute the scriptures. This way, you will always be with me and what else? I will always be with you. We chant the holy name, we constantly associate with the Lord, and the Lord associates with us. So, if you have right association, what happens? You get the knowledge about the holy name. The holy name can be chanted in different phases. One is the offensive stage. The second is the stage of minimizing offenses. The third is very much. In the first stage, you chant and commit offenses, just like when you preach. When we preach, we don't tell people, these are the 4 regular principles you must follow, so you can't chant. You first just encourage people, chant. Doesn't matter. I've had occasions where people were smoking and chanting, drinking and chanting. Eventually they got purified. So, chant the holy name. And if you chant, what happens? Gradually it cleanses the heart. So a genuine sadhu gives a real message. In this age, what is the best process? Chanting the holy name. We can see that practically. We can see it practically that we chant the holy name, we chant regularly, how it works. So one is the offensive stage. Now you are in the offensive stage, we start to associate with devotees. You start to read Prabhupada's books, and you discover, if I want to have full benefit, I should avoid what? Avoid the offenses. Bhava janma kare shavana kirtana sabudana vaya Krishna pade yamadana. When we go on chanting the holy names of the Lord, both of the unless one learns to avoid the offenses, he will not be able to develop love of God. We should be alert on this point. So we become aware of the offenses and we try to avoid them, minimize them. That is the intermediate stage. When you continue chanting on the intermediate stage, then you get to the stage of purified chanting. So chanting is useful in any situation. But for those who wish to make spiritual advancement, one is advised to chant and avoid the offenses. So this way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave instructions. In addition, he said, read the Bhagavatam, recite in a place of pilgrimage, and worship the deity in faith and love. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave these summarized instructions. So we should take advantage of these instructions. And Sanatana Goswami gave us many wonderful books. And so did the Goswami. The literature left behind in the Goswami is very wide. So, Sanatana Goswami's instructions is something that we should all try to practice. Reading and chanting are the cure for disease conditions. The Bhagavatam it is said that if we hear the holy name, through the disciplic succession, then you get a pure man. So we've all come to Krishna consciousness. Everyone sitting in this assembly is practicing Krishna consciousness. What should we do? We should do it very seriously. We should be very serious about utilizing time in service of the Lord. And if we are serious, then the Lord will give you the intelligence. Sanatana Goswami gave us many books on the science of devotional stuff. And Rupa Goswami. And then there was Jiva Goswami, Gopal Goswami, Raghunath Goswami, Raghunath Bhatta Goswami. These Goswamis gave more literature than anyone. So we offer them our dhanavad and take guidance from them. Hare Krishna. I thought that we would leave some time for questions. Yeah. Otherwise, people just listen. Do you have any questions? Any questions?
Anyone have any questions?
Yeah. At the end of the class, we must have a set time for questions to make sure people understand what they heard.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, thank you for the wonderful class. Guru Maharaj, my question is that Gopal Goswami and Sanatana Goswami has a lot of money initially, and they gave up that money and then they went to Vrindavan and built all the temples. And Gopal Goswami also taught us the principle of Yukta Vairagya. So why did they not use all the money they had to build those temples and use it there? They gave up everything and then they built all the temples.
They gave up everything in a very exemplary process. 50% donated to the Brahmana, 25% distributed to his relatives, and the rest he kept for future emergencies. So when they give to the Brahmins, these are genuine Brahmins. And later on, Goswami inspired the construction of all these temples. Rupa Goswami gave us the philosophy of Yukta Vairagya. What does it mean? Use everything in service of the Lord. That is genuine renunciation. Prabhupada said, you see a $100 bill on the road. There are three alternatives. One is, let it lie on the road. It's not mine. That is foolish. Somebody else will pocket it. The other is, pocket it. Don't let anybody know you found it. And the third is, take it, look for the real owner, return it. That is Kṛṣṇa consciousness. We take it and offer it to the real owner. That is the genuine Yukta Vairagya. Okay. More questions?
Guru Maharaj, since we're speaking about Sanatana Goswami,
You have to be a little louder.
Guru Maharaj, since we're speaking about Sanatana and Rupa Goswami, and we gave all their work, the Prabhupada also did say that we as Grihastha should give 50% of our income to the temple. What should we usually give as Grihasthas as a guiding principle? You know, Srila Prabhupada said 50%. But what should we be actually as Grihasthas, initiated disciples, be giving to the temple?
Actually, Prabhupada did not insist on 50%. He gave us the example of Rupa Goswami. Our position is, we encourage people to give as much as they can, but give something. If we take Krishna's gifts and don't use anything in this service, then we are simply thieves. So it's better we, and then you take on all the karma. If we use it in service of Krishna, then you're free. So we do whatever is practical. Krishna doesn't see what you give. Krishna sees what you keep. Krishna sees what is he keeping. So Krishna sees. When it comes to me, he says, Patram Puspam Param Toyam, leaf water. When it comes to himself, he's in a silver plate. So Krishna sees what are you keeping and what are you giving. Sorry. Any more?
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you for the nice class. My question is that Rupa and Sanatana Goswami, they were, what was in their, was there devotional practice in their family that they became such great devotees? What was the history of their families?
The Goswamis were actually assistant to the gopis. Goswamis are very advanced devotees. And Rupa and Sanatan, from their childhood, so they were born in Brahminical family, and from their childhood, they had only one interest, that is studying the scriptures and distributing their knowledge. This was their desire from the beginning. Okay. More.
In these five most potent items of devotional service, which one comes first and which one comes second? Is there like 1, 2, 3, 4?
In the order that the Lord presented, Sadhusanga came first. Probably because they were chanting the holy name, the most important. How do you get that knowledge? You get that knowledge from genuine sadhu. Therefore, that has been placed, number one. But, as we know, of the five, the most important is chanting the names of the Lord. If we chant the names of the Lord, attentively, then what happens? It becomes easier to cultivate the other qualities. So, chanting is the most important. If you're doing a chanting sincerely, it becomes the cure of all diseases. And if you're not doing it properly, then it becomes the cause of material attraction. The same medicine, it can cure all your disease, and it can cause all the disease. Both come from the same source. Any more?
Guru Maharaj, what will please you the most from your disciples?
If they get attached to the holy name, you only get attached to the holy name if you chant the holy name. Not only chant the holy name, but avoid the offenses. What is the spiritual master desire? That a disciple get attracted to the holy name, get attracted to the philosophy. He develops humility. Humility is a very important ingredient on the spiritual path. And this is one of the toughest to obtain. Humility means, some people think humility means bow down over Dandavats. Really, humility means, I am ready to be corrected. I want to be directed. I want to be guided. Generally we think, somebody gives you some advice. Oh, he just envious of me. standard reply. So we should develop humility where we are ready to serve all the way. Our mood should be, I'm a servant of all the Vaishnavas. And if that our mood is genuine, and that pleases the Lord. Pride, arrogance are not virtues that attract the attention of the Lord. So developing humility is one of the important factors for making spiritual advancement. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that to Sanatana Goswami also. Any more?
Hare Krishna. Guru Maharaj, sometimes we devotees discuss among each other that which service is better, supporting the temple by financially, or just do physical work, cleaning, deity worship, cooking. Between these two different services, both are good, but which one is better?
Both are. Both are equally good. If we don't give donations, temples will not run. For the temples to run, we need donations. Therefore, Prabhupada once told me, we are professional beggars. We are always begging. If we don't beg, you won't get donations to run the money. Then to build a temple, you need also a donation. And to clean the floor, that is also needed. When you clean the floor in the temple, it is comparable to cleansing the heart. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, you read the story of Gunica Marjana, when Lord Chaitanya and his devotees personally cleansed Gunica temple. Lord Chaitanya himself was scrubbing the roof, scrubbing the floor, scrubbing the walls. And he would see how much dirt each of the devotees had gathered. And then he would see, and it was seen that Lord Chaitanya alone had more dirt, collected more dirt, all the hundreds of devotees combined. So then he made those who were more successful teach to the others how to scrub the floor. So scrubbing the floor is also important. Prabhupada, when he would come to any temple, first thing he would see the cleanliness standard. Cleanliness is next to. So cleanliness is also very important. So both are important. Donations and cleansing. And if you have to do a cleansing job, don't think this is something untouchable. Sometimes devotees say, I didn't come to ISKCON to become a bhangi. Give me some executive seva. We should be eager to do whatever is needed. We serve as needed. That is not that we want everything out of our comfort zone. I serve only if I get these comforts. Okay, we'll take one more and stop. Yeah. Yes.
Thank you. Could you explain through the example of Sanatana Goswami that level of surrender and attachment together? We find in myself, I'm full number one, where you have full attachment and attraction for the holy name
I'm sorry.
also, but not sufficient surrender, not sufficient steadfast practice. What is the remedy and the fault if we don't have?
I'm sorry, could you please repeat the question?
This microphone.
Yes.
You explained through the example thinking of Sanatana Goswami, that surrender and attachment to sadhu sangha was so strong that he had the audience of Mahaprabhu not only practical and direct instruction. With fools like me, where you have attachment to holy name, but not proper level of surrender, not proper level of daily attention and sadhana, what is the risk there and how to improve that, how to be dedicated to that level of surrender, and what is the adequate proper level of surrender?
Surrender increases as we attempt to purify ourselves. And that's why when we start following sadhana bhakti, in the beginning we follow these rules and regulations. And as we endeavor, we get more and more in the mood of surrender. So the key is, I don't know if I understood your question fully. The key is purification and sadhana bhakti. In sadhana bhakti, we endeavored, and that will help us to surrender to the Lord. What does surrender to the Lord mean? I am following the Lord's instruction. Is that your question? Okay, last question. Oh. Take one more question.
Thank you for a nice class. So my question is, as Prabhu asked that we have 5 devotional service, and what are the 1, 2, 3? And you rightly said there's no one is up and one down. But I experienced, it's my personal experience, when we start doing the service, we categorize the service like we say DT service is higher than kitchen cleaning is higher than temple cleaning is higher than the SUBSCRIBE service. So how do we come out of this feeling I come across?
I think we should feel all services essential and equally important. And we should be willing to do as needed. One should not think, oh, he's a pujari, I'm a sweeper, I have to sweep the temple room every day. That is wrong. You should feel all essential services, they all have to be done. Is that your question?
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you.
Last question. Right.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Maharaj, very much. So, regarding the same topic, Maharaj, we see maybe more in bigger centers, but is it okay to have employees doing all these services?
Well, in the Western world, you don't have employees in temples. In Russia or here, all the work has to be done by devotees. But in India, unfortunately, we do have the facilities. And also, on the other hand, the Indian temples are very big, and there's a lot of work there. So, you hire people with salary because there's so much to do, and the devotees can do preaching. Your paid employee cannot do. But at least in the West, there's no question of paid employees. Is that your question?
No question of, you said?
Is that your question? Is that your question?
Yeah.
Okay, I think we should stop now. Manu, that's the way. I'll give it tomorrow evening also. I won't give it morning, evening.
Tomorrow evening you're doing Maharaj.
You give class in the evening.
Evening. Tomorrow. Morning. Srimad Bhagavatam class. you very much, Maharaj. Let's give a big applause.